Whisky.com news on the 22nd of May 2023. And there is some news about whiskey. The first one comes from the Isle of Islay. There's going to be Face Ale, and Big Peat brings out the Smokehouse edition. It's their special edition for Face Ale, and this time it's a finish in red wine cask, natural color, no chill filtration, 48% ABV. And yeah, it's very limited, so if you can get one, you should probably grab it. If you want to have it, you should not wait, because they will be gone pretty quickly. Then we have two new Kilchoman, Fino cask sherry matured and a Cognac cask matured. And it's part of their Expressions series. So 2 new expressions for the Expression series with 50% ABV. And they are also available on Whisky.com for all of you people who want to buy a whiskey from the Netherlands. Then we have Bladnoch. Bladnoch bringing 5 new bottlings to the market, and they're bringing out the Dragon series. And it's not about dragon as the mystical creature, but it actually is a mathematical curve. The dragon curve is a fractal curve in mathematics. And this curve, actually, I don't know this curve. I actually did higher math 1 to 4, but very mechanics focused. And yeah, so I don't know the curve, but it actually shows the connection between science and nature. Science is always connected to nature because it wants to predict nature, but on the other hand, we have the chaos that is just not to be predicted, and there is that connection between this is shown in these bottlings, and the 5 production steps all have a bit of natural chaos in them, and that's represented by this curve. These 5 bottlings will be available on Whisky.com for all of you people who want to buy from the Netherlands. Then we have a new bottling from the Nc'nean Huntress series 2023. It's called a Woodland Candy. And as they all do with the Huntress series, it's a new kind of yeast. And it has a bottling of 4,456 bottled, strictly limited. It's 48% ABV, not colored, not chill filtered. Yeah, sounds pretty good. If you can get one of these, grab them because they are not that available. Now we have Port Charlotte PMC 01 2013. It's a new Port Charlotte with 4 years in first fill bourbon casks, and after that 5 years in French red wine casks. 54.5% ABV, 40 ppm, and it will be available end of May and beginning of June around about. So yeah, you still have to wait a few weeks. Then we have Gordon MacPhail in the news with their new Cairn distillery, and they are bringing out the CRN 57 degrees Step 1 12 years old blended malt. Well, that's quite a name. And yeah, the 57 degrees is the their line on the northern scale. I can't remember the name. Equator is 0 and 57 is their line. And yeah, it's a yearly series now, and they will bring out 12 bottlings, probably annually, and they will have whiskies between 12 and 70 years in them. So that means it's never going to have anything from the spirit of the distillery. It's just going to be a blended malt, as Gordon MacPhail will do over the years. It's 1,309 bottles. And you can only buy these exclusively at the distillery when you do a tour. They started distilling mid-2022, so we'll still have to wait a few years until we get something from that distillery. Then we have something rather strange. I already had that Dr. Jim Beveridge went into his well-deserved pension. He is quite a legend, but he now brought out the Johnnie Walker, the Master's Cut. Kind of farewell gift from Jim Beveridge. We didn't expect another farewell gift from him, because he went into pension end of 2021, and now he is just came back and just made another one. It's a blend from whiskies from Ross Isle. And Cameron Bridge. It's just 1,000 bottles and they will be sold for £1,000. So yeah, he's a good guy. So I'm guessing these bottles will be really good. So yeah, nice that he came back. Yeah. Then we have a company that you might not know. It's the Emperador. Sounds more like a rum company, but it actually is the proprietors. It's a Philippine company that are the proprietors of White & Mackay, and they are investing 125 million US dollars into White & Mackay, and they will invest it into Dalmore, Fettercairn, Jura, Woodland, and Invergordon. Yeah, they will use this money to enlarge their production. That is always a good thing. Yeah, then we have news from Wales, and yeah, it's Penderyn again. The Penderyn Distillery is getting their third distillery. We have the Penderyn Distillery, then we have the one with the hard name, Llandudno Distillery, and the last one is actually called Swansea. Good name. And they will, I think they already finished the distillery within building. Now they are just getting into the process of distilling. And they're opening the Swansea distillery. Yeah, they're expecting it to do it in summer. Yeah, that was it with Wales. And now let's move over to the United States. Jim Beam is presenting their newest product. They're calling it a bourbon sunshine blend. It's a blended whiskey, and it's a mild whiskey, very good for mixing. It's a mixture between the well-known Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey of Jim Beam and a new bourbon that has a bit of brown rice in their mash bill. So yeah, that's allowed as long as you have 50% corn. Then it's still a bourbon, as it is a new bourbon. Another thing from Jim Beam is they're bringing out their first American single malt whiskey. It's called Clermont Steep. And yeah, I predicted a few years ago that there will be new single malts coming in the United States, and they are actually, it's a 5-year-old American single malt, so it's a bit older than I expected. So they already got the trend a few years ahead of me, and they're bringing out that single malt just right now. 47% ABV, unfortunately, just in the United States. So if you're in the United States, you're lucky you can try it. For all of you else, hopefully it will sell good enough so we can enjoy it a few years after that in the international market. Speaking about international, let's get into the international news of whiskey. We're going to Canada. Kiefer Sutherland, the actor and musician, is actually bringing out a Canadian whiskey, and he calls it Red Bank Whisky. Now, he's also a blender now, and he is blending between rye, corn, and wheat whiskey. I'm not quite sure what the proportions are. If he just goes for a lot of corn and just a smidge of rye, then it will just feel like a bourbon. But maybe he's going for a different kind of mash bill. The Canadian rules for making whiskey are quite relaxed, so you can do has quite some freedom to do that. Yeah, it's 40% ABV, and unfortunately just for the Canadian market. So all of you people in Canada, you can enjoy that whiskey. Then we have another whiskey that is very small, and that is another German whiskey distillery. It's called the Ascaim Distillery. Not a really German name, but it's still called that way. And they're bringing out their first whiskey. In 2020, we actually talked to you about the new Buchweizen, kind of a very German kind of grain, and it's being done near Munich. And now it's 3 years ago then when we said that, and now they're bringing out their first bottling end of May, beginning of June. Let's have a look. Maybe that is actually kicking off, and we'll see a bit more of that in the future, hopefully. Yeah, that was it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks.